The most popular crabbing season is from October to January. The time allocated for a season continues to shrink. At one point, a red crab season lasted only 4 days. Commercial fishing boats range from 12 to 75 meters, 39 to 246 feet, long, are equipped with hydraulic systems to lift the catch, and can withstand the cold weather of the Bering Sea. Each fishing boat schedules its own trips during the crabbing season, often going out for days or weeks. Fishermen use a box-shaped trap called a pot, consisting of a steel frame covered with nylon mesh.
Each crab boat carries a stack of pots or crab traps, each of which weighs between 600 and 800 pounds. The captain decides on the spot in the boat drops the pots into the water and marks their locations. After the pots are long enough to catch some crabs, the crew pulls them out of the water and sorts the catch. Females and crabs below the minimum size have to be thrown back. The remaining crabs are kept below deck to be brought back to a processing facility. King crab fishing jobs are so dangerous because of the temperatures and the Bering Sea. The job requires crab fishermen to wrestle about 150 crab pots across the deck.
Each pot weighs 600 to 800 pounds, 270 to 360 kilograms, and a ship can carry 150 to 300 pots. Fish, usually herring or cod, are placed inside as bait, then the pot is sunk to the sea floor where the king crabs live. The pots are released in a straight line, called a string, for easier retrieval. Red and blue king crabs can be found between the intertidal zone and depths of 100 fathoms, 600 feet, 180 meters. Golden king crabs live at depths of 100 to 400 fathoms, 180 to 720 meters, 600 to 2,400 feet. The location of the pot is marked on the surface with a buoy, which is then used for retrieval. After allowing the pots to rest on the seabed, usually 1 to 2 days for red and blue king crabs, longer for golden king crabs, the pots are pulled back to the surface using a hydraulic winch with a pulley at the end called a block. The pots are then loaded onto the boat and the crew sorts the catch. Any crabs that do not meet regulatory size and sex requirements are released. Crabs are kept alive in holding tanks until the boat reaches shore, where they are sold. If the weather gets too cold, the live crabs can freeze and break apart. If they are left in the tank for too long, they can harm and even kill each other because they can be cannibalistic. Even rocking the boat can harm the crabs, so boards are inserted into the holes to prevent the crabs from moving too much from side to side. If a crab dies in the hold for any reason, it releases toxins that can kill the other crabs. If the crew does not remove the dead crabs, they can poison the entire tank and ruin the catch. Several species of crabs can be found in both saltwater and freshwater areas throughout the United States. Some of the most common saltwater crabs to catch are king crab and snow crab, which are common in Alaska, Dungeness crab on the west coast, and Atlantic blue crab, also known as Chesapeake blue crab. Saltwater crabs tend to prefer shallow, marshy waters, so consider destinations like brackish rivers, bays, and estuaries. And while you can catch crabs by boat, the great thing about crabbing is that you can have just as much success on land. Crabs like to stay near structures, so when planning your trip, look for locations like piers, and jetties. Freshwater crabs like fiddler crabs and red crabs are best caught in shallow waters close to land. Common places you'll find these species are along shorelines with hiding places, such as wooded beaches, boulders, or grass. Stony reefs are another common habitat. What makes crabbing a great activity for beginners is that you don't need much special equipment. The simplest way to catch crabs is with a dip net. Another easy method is to cast a line with bait on the end. Just wait for one to pull, then pull the crab in, catching it with the net. The only downside to the line method is that you can only catch one crab at a time. To catch more crabs, you can use crab traps. Crab traps are wire cages attached to a long rope that is lowered to the bottom of a body of water. Depending on your preference and budget, there are many different types that can be used effectively, including crab rings, pyramid traps, standard squares, and many others. With any of these, you will secure the bait inside with a rope, string, or clip, which will attract the crabs into the trap. Once the trap is set, you just sit back and wait. A good rule of thumb is to check your trap every 15 to 30 minutes. When you pull up the trap, you will need a net or bucket to hold the crabs and keep them from running away. You may also want to get a pair of crabbing gloves to avoid getting pinched. The best crab bait is a scavenger, meaning you're more likely to use bait when crabbing. While there are many types, fresh bait is usually best, and the smellier the better, as crabs will gravitate toward strong-smelling options. Some good options include raw chicken or turkey, fish carcasses, and razor clams. You can even use sausage. I've noticed there's a lot of confusion surrounding the different types of king crab, all three. Before I started crabbing, I had no idea there was any difference. Whether you're a buyer for a restaurant or just a crab enthusiast, I hope this page will shed some light on the subject. There are 3 species of king crab in Alaska: red king crab, blue king crab, and red king crab, brown king crab. They are found in different areas of Alaskan waters. Below is a detailed map of the main habitats. Most king crab caught in Alaska comes from the Bering Sea. There are smaller fisheries in the north in Norton Sound and in the southeast. Red king crab is caught in the waters of Bristol Bay and Norton Sound, and true red king crab is the most prized crab in the world, with strong consumer demand in Japan, the United States, and Europe. Alaska's largest harvest of red king crab takes place in the waters of Bristol Bay. About 100 boats are involved in the fishery, harvesting millions of pounds over a 2 to 3 month period. Live red king crabs are actually a deep purple. When cooked, they turn bright red, with crimson highlights on the upper part of the shell and especially around the toes. In terms of flavor, true red king crab is the best in the world. The crab meat is snow white, with bright red accents. In season, more and more white tablecloth restaurants offer bright red king crab, a luxury. Juicy and served piping hot, there is no other dish I would rather eat. Blue king crab is caught in Alaska near St. Matthew Island and the Pribilof Islands, and is known for its sweet meat and giant claws. The Pribilof Island blue king crab is one of the largest crabs in the world. In Dutch Harbour in 1998, I saw blue king crab unloaded at the dock weighing over 18 pounds. When alive, blue king crabs are brown with royal blue accents. However, when cooked, they turn a bright orange red. This is why blue king crab is often marketed in the United States as red king crab. In terms of flavor, blue king crab is similar to red king crab, often sweeter, although the flavor is slightly milder than red crab. When in season, I like to serve blue king crab to guests. They are always amazed at the size of the claws. Golden king crabs are caught in the waters around the Aleutian Islands, and are the smallest of the three main species. Their shells are orange-yellow in color. They have the mildest flavor of the three commercially caught Alaskan king crabs. Golden king crabs typically have the lowest percentage of filler meat inside the shell and are sold at a lower price than blue or red crabs. Since they are one of the most popular crabs in Alaska, they have begun to be sold fresh instead of frozen in brine. More and more chefs across the United States have begun to request and serve fresh Alaskan golden king crab legs. Although not commercially marketed, the Bering Sea also has a fourth type of king crab called the scarlet king crab. While I have never tried this type of king crab, I have heard a story or two about its incredibly sweet meat. Scarlet king crabs are neither large nor numerous enough to sustain a commercial harvest. Caught in the waters of Bristol Bay and Norton Sound, red king crabs are the most prized crab in the world. Alaska's largest harvest of red king crabs occurs in the waters of Bristol Bay. About 100 boats participate in the fishery, harvesting millions of pounds over a 2 to 3 month period. When alive, red king crabs are actually a deep purple-red in color. When cooked, they turn bright red, with bright red accents on the upper part of the shell and especially around the toes. In terms of flavor, red king crabs are truly the best in the world. The meat is snow white, with bright red highlights. Giant king crab legs are the largest crab caught in the world, and each crab cluster is packed with delicious crab meat that your family will love. Giant Alaskan king crab legs and claws delivered to your door year-round. These fresh crab legs are delivered straight to your door. Giant king crab legs have unrivaled flavor, quality and texture.